What the hell's going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle in order to rank the worst to first, the bottom 21 LRs, and form them into our very own tier list.
Hit my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my hunger.
So as you can see, we have 7 different tiers. Apparently I can't speak because I'm so excited, as you should be. We have Farmer with a Shotgun tier, Grandpa Gohan tier, Master Roshi tier, Mr. Popo tier, Kami tier, King Yama tier, and King Kai tier. This is going to be reflecting the bottom 21 LRs in the game. I will be making a separate video with the top 20 LRs in the game. So as you can see, we have Japan only, the Vegeta, the Goku, the 17 and Frieza, and then the 17 Universe 17. And then we have the top 20 LRs in the game. Spoilers, there they are. But you're going to want to see where I rank them in that separate video that will be coming out most likely tomorrow. Anyway, let's focus on the bottom 21, and let's focus on the Farmer with a Shotgun tier. Number 1, or I should say number 21, at the bottom, Strength Broly. So Strength Broly is going to bring up the rear, and the reason is simple. He gives himself 80,000 flat attack when he supers, and he lowers his defense when he supers as well, a flat 20,000. Now the flat 20,000 doesn't mean as much as it used to, because back in the day when Strength Broly just sat at 40k defense, losing 20 of that was terrible. It would put him at 20,000 defense and he would get absolutely destroyed. Now, with 50% supports, with 170% leads, Broly can get up to over 100k defense. And so that 20k doesn't mean as much because he's still going to sit at 90,000, 80,000 defense, which is workable. The problem is his attack bonus is still just a flat boost. So if he's sitting at 450k attack, then that flat boost is only going to put him up to 530. It's never going to set him up to the 600, 700, 800,000 attacks, which percentage-based passives can do. Now, this guy is still an absolute beast for the World Tournament, but besides that, you're probably never going to use him on a team. Next up on this bottom tier, Farmer with a Shotgun tier, is LR Goten and Trunks. LR Goten and Trunks is the only LR in the game that is going to, the majority of the time, well, let me take that back. If you are doing your 12 key super attack, you will 100% of the time lower your own attack and, yeah, just lower your own attack. And then you have the 50% chance, I believe it's 50% chance to lower your own attack, and then you have a 50% chance to lower your own attack and defense, which is absolutely terrible. So guaranteed you're going to lower your own attack on your 12 key super attack, and then you have a chance to also lower your defense, which is just so dumb. Now your 18 key can do some work, particularly if you go Super Saiyan 3 on your 18 key, which only happens 30% of the time. You'll be able to, you know, greatly raise your attack and defense, and you'll be okay in that position. But this dude is the only LR that negatively impacts himself in his passive, in his super attack. You know, well, not in his passive, but in his super attack. He's the only one that does it. You can argue that the Vegeta Nappa also lowers their own attack, but that's the active skill, right? You have to trigger that. This dude just is guaranteed. And he's wonky. He's unpredictable. His passive is in as well. 3 key up to 9 key, but it's random, so you can't really depend on it as well. So these are all things that make it so he's not a dependable LR. We're moving up to the Grandpa Gohan tier, and we're going to have to include LR Majin Vegeta. Now, a quick point that I want to make, the order of the LRs on said tier does not matter. So I'm not ranking them 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. I think that they're about equal on the tier. So with Majin Vegeta, lacks defense, lacks defense, lacks defense. He can hit very, very hard. He's got that small chance to stun. His super attack looks great now that they reworked it, but he just can't take a hit from anybody. You hit him with a pillow, and he's going to be face first, knocked out cold, ref waving it off without even starting the count. And that's a big problem. His links are pretty good, but I do believe that they will in the future make a much stronger Majin Vegeta, because right now we have obviously the transforming one, but he doesn't start as Majin Vegeta. This one, and then the Tech UR, who will probably get a Dokkan Awakening. We have a few others in there as well, but in terms of a top tier Majin Vegeta, we have none. So this guy will either become God tier when he gets an easy A, or he'll just get replaced by another card, preferably one with defense. Next up on the Grandpa Gohan tier has to be the Intelligence Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So the great thing about Intelligence Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is the fact that he does Mega Colossal on his 12 and 18. He also has the ability to get more orbs from every orb that he grabs, which is fantastic. He gets an extra key from it, so he's able to pump out those 18 keys very, very easily. But Majin Vegeta's problem is also his own. He lacks defense. He can get hit extremely hard. And not to mention, he's been essentially replaced, I would say, by the Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So who's better than him in every way. So there's really no reason to bring this guy along to anything if you have that Tech Super Saiyan 2 LR Gohan. This guy still can do a lot of damage, but again, he's a glass cannon. He's going to get absolutely wiped off the face of the earth if he takes any type of hit. Last on the Grandpa Gohan tier has to be LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku. LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku is, again, a fantastic offensive unit, but with his defense, it is a double-edged sword, because yes, you can potentially have 120% defense, which is good. He can be an okay defensive unit. You're not going to be looking at great stats, but you're going to be looking at decent numbers in terms of his defense, particularly 150k plus. That's not bad. It's pretty good, actually. But the problem is that he sacrifices one or the other. He either will be at that 120% defense and give himself 0 attack bonus, right? Unless if you're looking at links. But if you're not looking at links, he gives himself 0 attack bonus if you're sitting at doing a 12 key super attack. Once you do that 18 key super attack, his damage goes through the roof, but he loses almost all of his defense. Almost all of his defense gets thrown out the window. He gets left with only 30% defensive bonus, which is just not good enough. It's just not good enough. And so that's the main reason I put him in the Grandpa Gohan tier alongside of the Majin Vegeta and the Gohan, because yes, he could potentially get that defensive bonus, but he sacrifices all of his attack to do so. Yes, he can get all of that offensive bonus, but he sacrifices the majority of his defense to be able to do so. And that makes it that he's just not a reliable card. And that's kind of the hallmark for Grandpa Gohan tier. Let's move up to the Master Roshi tier, and first on the list is going to be Physical LR Bardock. Now, one big thing I'll tell you about the Master Roshi tier is starting from here, every LR is actually usable right now. You can put him in a team and he will be fine, they will be fine, she will work, you know, the card will work, you'll be okay. And that's the hallmark of this Master Roshi tier. Physical Bardock, great card still to this day, does decent damage, good defense if you're facing multiple units, gives himself key if you're facing one unit. The 18 key does really well. He can get, you know, he can negate decent damage. Just a great jack of all trades type of card. Master of none, but very good in all areas. It's kind of like one of those cards, if you looked at like a Pokedex and you looked at like the little graph, he is a full, like, just a full hexagon, not encompassing it all, kind of in the middle, but hits every single corner in a decent way. So this guy's very, very solid. If you don't have the AGL Bardock, then he's definitely a good addition to any team. Next up will be the Strength Trunks and Mai, LR Strength Trunks and Mai. I would say that this LR is a enhanced and better version of the tech hit, because they also have that chance to stun, 50% chance to stun on the 18 key, medium chance to stun on the 12 key. And then where they are better than tech hit is, yes, they lose the chance to stun on the passive, but they gain that chance to dodge when you're facing off against Future Saga enemies, which is a decent amount. And then you get stronger and stronger, both offensively and defensively, when you have time traveler units on the team. That's a big deal. Actually has defense. Wow, what an incredible thought, right? What an insane addition to this card. Defense. Ooh, who would have thought tech hit? So the Trunks and Mai can get decent defense. Nothing top tier, but decent defense. Offense will be pretty good on a Time Travelers team, and honestly, you're going to only run them on Time Travelers or Future Saga, so those conditions will be fulfilled. And then that chance to stun works on Time Travelers SBR or Future SBR or whatever else you're running. You can actually trigger that stun chance and somewhat survive hits, unlike the tech hit. I love that this video has just turned into a tech hit roast, but hey, it is what it is. Next up, we're including the LR Physical Trunks, OG LR Physical Trunks. So the OG LR Physical Trunks does not have defense in his passive, but does in the links as well in the super attacks. You're doing a semi-stacking defense bonus, which can actually get higher than you would think. The drawback is you do have to super attack, Now, the good thing about this dude is a healthy attack bonus when super attacking, as well as a 50% chance to crit. 50% chance to crit. That is very rare. Some of the only cards that have that are like the Intelligence transforming Goku Black, and then the new LRs on the 6-year anniversary have it in their passive or in their super attack, right? 50% chance to crit. This guy in his passive, when he supers, 50% chance to crit, which is fantastic. He can do a lot of damage, and again, since he's a semi-stacking defensive unit, he can take hits fairly well. I say fairly because it's not impressive, but he will survive. Moving up to the Mr. Popo tier, we're going with the GT Trio. GT Trio can hit extremely hard if you build a team around them. The problem with the GT Trio right now is they are in a beta state. They are still alpha testing. There's just not enough Dragon Ball Seekers, not enough GT units to realistically run a Dragon Ball Seekers team or a youth team or whatever team you're trying to run to include them in. Once more units are added in that are going to share that GT link, that are going to share, the solid support and things of that nature, then they're going to be very, very good, especially if they add a GT tier in the future, or GT category in the future, because right now they only on 2-3 categories. I think it's like Joint Forces, Dragon Ball Seekers, and I don't even remember what else, Youth, I think. But with that said, it's just not enough. So they're kind of a work in progress, and when they get more help, they will climb the ranks. Next on the Mr. Popo tier is Nappa and Vegeta, the Saiyan Saga Nappa and Vegeta. Now, let's just get this out of the way right now. Vegeta is phenomenal. When you exchange into Vegeta, he does so much. His damage is great. His defense is great. His transformation giving you back 50% HP, kind of like the LR Strength Vegito. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. I have problems with the Nappa. The Nappa just seems like he was created by too many people. Everybody wanted to turn him into different cards. Someone thought that he was a free-to-play World Tournament LR. Another person gave him an active skill for a different card. Like, it just makes no sense, right? The fact that he gains attack bonus if he dodges, but he has no innate dodge in him until he's using his active skill, and then the active skill lowers his attack, but gives him guaranteed dodge. It's just like, it makes no sense. Usually a card, you want them to have an answer for their own problems. LR Go Bros, they have a key issue because they have very little key links. So what's the fix? They give themselves key every time they attack. Whoa, who would have thought? Vegeta and Nappa, they gain attack when they dodge. Okay, what's the fix? Give them an active skill of guaranteed dodge. Why lower their attack? It just makes no sense. No one else in this game really has anything like that, where they rely on something and then they have their own fix, but it's also a detriment to themselves. You look at LR Turles. Attacks off effective against all types when you're getting 24 ki. Their active skill, give them 24 ki twice. Why does Vegeta Nappa have that drawback? I'm just confused on that, hence why they're in the Mr. Popo tier. Last but not least, in the Mr. Popo tier, Beerus and Whis, LR Strength Beerus and Whis. Beerus and Whis are a top tier unit when they are on their own teams, meaning have another Beerus, have Whis, have Vados next to them. They will get to insane numbers, great defensively, insane amounts of damage, just insane amounts of damage. Unfortunately, if you don't include them next to those units, then they suffer greatly. Their damage is not going to be particularly good. You're going to struggle to even do 12 key super attacks, and your defense isn't going to be that great. This guy is they're kind of a more limited version of Cells and Majin Buus, because Cells and Majin Buus got such great increases in power due to their links. I would say that Beerus and Whis also did, but there's not as many Beeruses, Whises, or Vados in the game as there are Cells, as there are Majin Buus. So they're still in a more limited team, and so I can't put them higher than the Mr. Popo tier. We're climbing up to the Kami tier, and first up on the Kami tier, again, the ranking doesn't matter on the actual tier, but first to be talked about is LR Goku Black and Zamasu. The green and rose boys are still fantastic to this day, even though they're real old school. I have a soft spot in my heart for them because they're so badass. Let's just put it out there. But I love everything they do. 15% HP back at the start of turn. They're mini stackers as well for defense. 3 turns, 30% defense on the 12 key. 6 turns, 30% defense on the 18 key, which is phenomenal. They gain more attack as they get hit, and their link set is some of the best extreme link sets in the game, right? Like, they're going to be able to pair up with other Goku Blacks, with other Zamasus, with other, extreme Future Saga enemies, extreme time travelers, just anybody in that Goku Black arc. They work perfectly, and there's a ton of those units. So in terms of great linking partners that hit 5 or 6 links, there are a lot for this unit. And so the amount of damage that they can punch out is absolutely insane. The amount of defense that they get is very, very good, and you're going to be healing every single turn. So I'm a huge fan of this OG unit. I can't imagine what their EZA is going to be like, because they're already fairly strong as is. Another OG unit who is still phenomenal, we talked about a little bit about him earlier, the Physical LR Cell. So Physical LR Cell used to be a pretty boring unit, honestly. 90% attack and defense, gain more attack for every enemy that there was. But with his links, he has increased steadily. His attack is absolutely insane. The HP recovery that you get back on the 12 and 18 key supers is phenomenal. Actually, 18 key super, I believe, just greatly raises attack and does Mega Colossal, while the 12 key, if I remember correctly, does 12% HP back. Or 10%, and then is an AoE, which is actually great. But because you're getting like the Metamorphosis, and you're getting the Gentleman, and then Artificial Life Form or something like that, there's a lot of links that are very particular to Cells, but there's a ton of Cells. And so he's able to link up perfectly with a ton of different units. His attack is through the roof, especially if you're bringing him against SBR and things of that nature. And the defense is great too. So definitely a glow up for the LR Cell and Cell Juniors. Next up is going to be LR Intelligence God Goku. So Super Saiyan God Goku is still a great unit. You really have to build him on a Pure Saiyan's team. He's going to get his best look from being surrounded by other Pure Saiyans. So Realm of Gods is going to be a little bit tough because some of the fusions aren't considered Pure Saiyans, the Jirins, the Topos. He's not going to get anything on his passive. You really want to put him next to Pure Saiyans. But his 50% chance to crit and dodge is phenomenal for the first 7 turns. And then his, mini stacking, again, attack and defense for 3 turns on his super attacks is also very, very good. So if you build a team around him, his defense and offense is incredible, and he's essentially a god for the first 7 turns. Now, after the 7 turns, he does fall down a bit, and if you don't put him on a team built around him, then he can look very mid. I've actually made a video not too long ago where I had him at level 10 links, and he can seem not that impressive if you don't put him in the best light. But he's definitely a unit that goes from 0 to hero very quickly, depending on what kind of team he's put on. And rounding out the Kami tier is going to be LR Full Power Frieza. So LR Full Power Frieza is a very interesting character. He's one of the only characters that gets all of his bonus, passive when he loses HP. So there's units that will gain defense when they lose HP or gain offense when they lose HP, but they also have stats, a bonus when they have HP. This guy's one of the only ones that's going to gain ki and attack up to 150% when you get below 30% HP, which is somewhat difficult to do safely. And I say that because once you drop below 30% HP, that means that you're in an event that has the ability to drop you below 30% HP, which means that any hit could potentially kill you since you've already dropped below 30% HP. It's not something you want to stay around. It's not like in One Piece Treasure Cruise where there's particular units that thrive and they get big bonuses on being below 30% HP. But in that game, enemies have turns. It's a true RPG where you get attacks and then they have they'll attack in 2 turns, 3 turns, kind of like a Final Fantasy or whatever the case is. So you can kind of schedule the battle around killing them before you get hit. So you maximize that 30% HP. With LR Frieza, you're going to get hit every single turn. So that 30% HP can turn into 0% HP very, very quickly. Now, if you do drop in HP, the amount of damage you're doing is phenomenal. And he's an okay defensive unit. But for those reasons, I have to put him no higher than the Kami tier. Let's move up to the King Yama tier, and first up is going to be LR Broly Trio, the movie Broly. So if this movie Broly's super attack and passive were a Goku, he'd be one of the best units in the game. Unfortunately, it's a Broly Trio, and so their links are all over the place, and they're only on 2 categories, Joint Forces and Movie Bosses, which is real troll. But this guy is incredible. If you collect 7 orbs, you're guaranteed to dodge. Not a percentage to increase your super attack chance or a chance to dodge or whatever. No, it's guaranteed dodge for that turn if you grab 7 orbs. You want to grab physical orbs? Fine, you're going to be nuking like crazy. You want to grab, I believe it's AGL and Strength, you'll give your team a attack bonus. You want to grab Intelligence and Tech, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, don't quote me on it. You'll give your team a 39% defensive boost. Like, it's actually insane how this card is 4 different cards in one. It's an unbelievable thing. The thing that really holds him back is he has 0 good linking partners, and he's on 2 very strange category. Well, Movie Boss is a very good category. Joint Forces, I feel like, doesn't have enough supports on it. You really need a lot of good supporting linking cards. Joint Forces is a very top heavy, full of LR category. I feel like there's more LRs in that category than there are normal TURs. Broly Trio, great card, held back by links and categories. Next up is going to be LR AGL Baby Vegeta. So the Super Saiyan 2 LR Baby Vegeta, fantastic card, obviously against Pure Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans, very similar to the Strength Cooler. This dude gets 50% and key attack facing either one, right? So you can double up on that bonus if you're facing both. And his defense is very, very good. If you drop below 40% HP, you got that 50-50 chance to turn into a giant ape, which can be a lifesaver. And his links are pretty good. He doesn't have a ton of units that he links perfectly with, but he's got a lot of units that he has 4 key links with, like a lot of units. So you can kind of sneak him in to a bunch of different teams. He's kind of like one of those cards that can fit as the 6th man on a basketball team. Last but not least on the King Yama tier, LR Intelligence Bojack. So at the moment, Bojack will probably skyrocket when Strength Bojack is released, but we're on global. He hasn't come out yet, and so we're going to put him on the King Yama tier. This guy's still fantastic, though. When he 18 keys, he's actually giving 40% attack bonus to his team, which is phenomenal. But at the moment, again, he doesn't really have any linking partners. He's got 2 people that link well with him, which is the TUR version of this LR, which not a lot of people are going to have. And then there's the physical World Tournament Bojack, who's only a level 100, doesn't have a Dokkan Awakening yet. So that brings him down a little bit. Now, again, once the Strength Bojack comes out, this guy's skyrocketing, because with the Strength Bojack, he's doing 5 to 6 million attack stats. He's got over 200k defense, 250k defense, so he's taking no type of hits. He's absolute insanity. At the moment, he's held back, again, because he doesn't really have a good linking partner. But even with that said, he's still really strong, sitting with no good supports. Let's move on up to the King Kai tier, starting with LR Tech Super Saiyan Broly. So I'm putting LR Tech Super Saiyan Broly, aka Legendary Broly, on the King Kai tier because he's an offensive monster. The amount of damage that he can punch out is absolutely insane, particularly after 4 turns and he transforms into his legendary status. His active skill is so easy to trigger, obviously, and it just allows him to pump out so much damage. Unfortunately, his defense is a little bit lacking, and you're going to see in the top 20 LRs of February Global, a lot of those units are going to focus on defense and are going to be able to last in bouts that, where you take a lot of damage. This Broly, not so much, but he's boosted by the fact that he can do so much offense in such a short amount of time. Next up, we're putting the physical Goku and Vegeta, aka Gogeta, onto the King Kai tier. So these guys are still top tier, 120% attack and defense. The fact that they gain, 3 key with every rainbow orb that they get means that 18 keys are so easy to pump out. Their offense is great, their defense is great, and then you have a kind of built-in sensu bean. After 6 turns, you drop below 50% HP, boom, you transform into Gogeta. Full HP back, which is always very good. And then not to mention when they're in Gogeta, attacks effective against all types. They're now at like 150% attack and defense, I believe. And they're now getting 4 key from the rainbow orbs. It's absolutely insane. And speaking about insane, Intelligence Goku and Vegeta, aka the Intelligence LR Vegito. This guy does exactly what the Gogeta does, except when he's in the Vegito form, he does counter. So any normal attacks, he counters with tremendous power. He doesn't have the attack effective against all types, but he does boost allies' attack by 30% on his 18 key, if I remember correctly, which is a bit better than the Gogeta. Not to mention Patara, hands down better than Fusion. So I got to put the LR Vegito in the top King Kai tier, and that finishes all 21 of the bottom LRs. So these are the 21, the bottom 21 LRs of Global in February for 2021. If you have any disagreements, if you have any, add-on that you want to include, drop it in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you haven't clicked that blue join button, consider what you're doing with your life. Become a Boomer Elite, become a Boomer Champion like Wolverine Gaming, like Chris Gonzalez. But if you want to do it the free-to-play way, that's fine too. Go ahead and gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.